it from? It's from my little sister. Trying in the local sheriff in Dual County. My little sister was followed by the cops and harassed by a guy from Colorado who wanted to threaten to kill my sister and my niece. Do I believe my sister? Kind of have to. There's kids involved. My niece has 3 uncles on her mom's side and 3 uncles on her dad's side. She got 6 uncles. Sorry, 2 uncles on her dad's side. Richard, Riley, and Randy. Their mother's name is Marie Long. She's one of the people that, when folks make fake accounts to harass me, that's one of the popular ones. I got like 6 fake accounts sent to me from her. So let's talk about fighting. There's a guy in Florida, right? He goes into a gym. It's at a apartment complex. And of course, he's been there before. The lady knows him. She opens the door and she lets him in. Now, at one point, he's going to ask her a question, right? But he's trying to be submissive. You cannot be submissive with a woman. You can't. She'll pretend like you're a creep. No, you have to be very direct with a woman. Get away from me. Get away from me. Leave me alone. But does that work? No. No, it doesn't. Because we have taught every girl in America that no doesn't mean no. When a man says no, it means pick on him, bully him, and get involved with your friends. That's not okay. So this woman in the gym in Florida, what does she do? She lets him in. He goes about his business, right? Now he asks her a question. He's got his palms up when he approaches her. He does keep an appropriate distance, and he's got his hands up like this. She starts fucking swinging at him. The whole fight, he didn't swing, not even once. Well, she claims that she was attacked by a man. I'm like, holy shit. That is the nicest guy in the history of beating on women. The only time he ever stepped inside, if you know anything about fighting, you can either fight from the outside or you can fight from the inside. Fighting from the outside usually denotes that you're trying not to have an altercation. Let me explain this to you. If you're 10 feet away from somebody, it's because you're trying not to get hit. Now, when did this man step up? He stepped up every time she went and reached for a weapon. She did have the opportunity to get out the door at one point, but she was not interested in actually getting out the door. She wanted to fight. And she also thinks she's big and tough because this guy who she decided to waylay on, who's actually smaller than her, he got arrested. Why did he get arrested? You can see in the situation where she is looking for an excuse to harm someone. The only time he steps in is when she reaches for a weapon. And on multiple occasions, you can see she is working him over, but you also see that he's not swinging back. I've had to deal with that many times in my life. When Crystal Beauchamp wanted to assault me because I wouldn't have sex with her when she was drunk, she didn't assault me when she was drunk. She assaulted me like 2 weeks later. All pissed off still. The cops showed up, ignored the violence, ignored the fact that my head was bleeding from her scratching the hell out of me. Now, how many times did I swing at Crystal Beauchamp? I didn't. I held her at bay with snot rockets. Not very effectively. The cops showed up. Some lady called and said that some lady was beating on a homeless dude. The cops showed up and Crystal tried to go tell on herself. And they were busy trying to ignore her. They went and arrested some old guy who wasn't doing anything wrong. Now, what would have happened if I'd have fought back? What would have happened if that guy in the gym would have fought back? It's a good question. Out of all of the assaults that I've seen, I've never, ever seen a man fight a woman the way that he fights a man. Ever. We're taught to protect you things. Things. You like that word? Because that's what we are to you. That guy in Florida, they're probably going to lock him up for years. We can't hear the words that are said, but you can see by his actions that he's not trying to fucking hurt her. When my little sister was beating the fuck out of her dog, did I punch her? No! That wouldn't have been necessary. I wasn't interested in hurting my sister. What I was interested in is stopping her from hurting that poor dog. Now, did I go beating the hell out of my sister? Oh, hell no. Hell no. Did I go kicking my sister in the chin? Hell no. Did I go stomping her while she was down? Hell no. Did I pick up inanimate objects to throw? Like Amy Kalina Kingery's kids did? Like Harley Richmond did? Hell no. I've been in some pretty tough scraps with people that are a lot bigger than me, and I've won on accident. And you say, well, how does that work? You know what? Skill is important. It really is. Skill and knowing how to cover up is the reason that I've preserved my head. Learning how to cover up. How to reduce the impact of people's strikes. But I was never into hitting people, ever. When it comes to women, men are taught they have to hold back. We have to be nice to them. If a woman attacks us, you're not allowed to use any physical force to stop it. You just have to let it happen. Because if you don't, you'll get arrested. Why didn't Dallas Richmond turn in Harley Richmond? And why is it that Dallas kept on saying, well, whatever you got going on with Harley? Like, dude, I don't have anything going on with Harley. When she comes here and starts beating on you, yeah, that creates a safety issue for anybody there. We have to see that. We have to hear that. And then I get to hear the trauma of, oh my God, a man's words have made you into a monster. Harley refused to take responsibility for her own actions. It was always blaming it on Dallas. Well, you know what? Whatever you guys had going on is between you two. When it's my living environment and you're harming my roommate, yeah, I'm going to speak up. Dallas and Harley both told me stories. Well, Dallas mostly told me stories about how he woke up one morning and Harley was afraid of him because he was punching her in his sleep. And then it turned out she changed her story to he punched her in the leg in his sleep. And then she used that to claim that he was a woman beater. Of course, she also accused him of molesting his daughter, the oldest one. And he speaks about that in the recording with him, one of several recordings with him on my YouTube channel. If she thought that he was molesting their daughter, then why did she try to get back with him? And by the way, she did get back with him several times, but alcoholism is their problem. Yeah. Even drunk, Dallas Richmond has more self-control than Harley Richmond does sober. And I rarely see Harley Richmond sober. That guy down in Florida went viral, right? Because people are like, oh, look at this gym creep. You know what? People stare at me all the fucking time. Get over it. Some people down at the first steps, they've been gawking at me for a fucking week. What do? I go about my fucking business. And I mind my fucking business. My business is protecting myself and my loved ones. My business is protecting you. That's what all of us are taught. Then that's apparently toxic masculinity. So then you get your ass kicked because people aren't going to help you because it's toxic masculinity. You start a fight with a boy half your size, and what do people do? They're just going to watch. You started the fight. Nowadays, people don't want to get involved. They'll watch you get your ass kicked if you start a fight with a man, in many cases. And just so you know, men pay very close attention to the way that other boys are acting and fighting around women. There was a girl named Catherine in like 5th grade. She used to pride herself on beating on the boys. The only girl fight I was ever in. That was 5th grade. It was no fun whatsoever. Being assaulted by her boyfriend. Like, it's 5th grade. Who's got a boyfriend in 5th grade? He was a lot bigger than me, and he decided he was gonna... He had a bike, a BMX, Mongoose. I remember because Mongoose was like the cool bike back then. Anyway, this dude straight up picked up that bike and dropped it on my head. And that's how me and Catherine ended up getting into the fight. At first, it was just her hitting me over and over and over again. Over and over and over and over again, just hitting me. I was like the 3rd boy on the playground that she'd assaulted that week. And of course, she was practicing what she learned at home. My boyfriend will beat you up. No, he won't. Your boyfriend's a fucking FUD. Well, he did beat me up, sort of. He fucking dropped a bike on my head. Now, here's the scenario, though. Like, she was punching me in the face. Straight up socking me in the face, trying to aim for my nose. Then she decided that she was going to try to give me a titty twister. This is 5th grade, okay? It's not like you're going, you know, head to head with a grown adult who knows what they're doing. This is a girl who's given other people titty twisters on the playground because she likes listening to them scream. Ah, ah, ah. These are fifth grade boys. Now, Catherine, when she decided that she was going to give me a titty twister, of course, she hasn't developed yet. She doesn't have those parts yet. I only had something to grab a hold of because I was 5'1", 184 pounds. For a 5'1" frame, that's a lot of friggin' weight. Yeah, I had man boobies. Was I bigger than Catherine? Yes, much bigger. I was 184 pounds. She maybe weighed 90 pounds soaking wet. Very strange situation. So then when she's giving me the titty twister, like I got a high pain tolerance and she wasn't expecting that. Sure, she made me make some noises. I was going, ah, 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 ah. I was trying to step away from her. Well, when I stepped away from her, she stepped in, tried to, fifth grade, reaches around, try to start yanking on my underwear. Right? Now, this is the point where she's got a hold of my boob with one hand. She's trying to reach for my underwear with the other one. And yeah, it's not working out for her. She's wide open. And the whole time that she's doing this, she's trying to grab for something that she can hurt me with. And she's, of course, calling me all sorts of names. Her boyfriend's yelling at her, do this and do that. And she's like, I can't, he's too fat. I was too fat. No, she couldn't reach around and grab a hold of my underwear to give me a wedgie. And yeah, in fifth grade, that's one of the cool things to do. There's 3 different things you can do. So, when Catherine's doing this, right, her boyfriend gets down on all fours behind me. Like I said, fifth grade. This is just for the entertainment factor. Right? So he gets down on all fours behind me while she's doing this whole titty twister thing. And she pushes me over him. I mean, this is a very popular thing in fifth grade. So, of course, when she pushes me, she's got a hold of my chest, and she's still trying to reach for my undies. And I fall over the top of the guy, right? Well, when I fall over the top of him, I'm on my back, but she's still holding on to me. And the way that she's holding on to me, literally, all I had to do was roll over, right? So I rolled over, and her face is right here. And she bit me hard, real hard. While she was biting me, her boyfriend got up, grabbed his bike, and come and dropped it on my head. How many times did I hit Catherine? Never. Was that the end of the fight? No, it wasn't. At that point, it became grappling with her to reduce the harm from her and actually fighting back against him. He didn't look too good after the fight. I didn't look too good after the fight. Catherine looked fine. Why did Catherine look fine after the fight? But me and her boyfriend were both battered and bruised and bloody and bleeding. Because nobody tried to hurt Catherine through the entire thing. Nobody tried to hurt her. Nobody. That was one of the few fights that was not broken up by the teachers. That one was broken up by the students. Now, this was easily 30 years ago. I don't remember which student it was, but I think it was one of the deaf kids. The reason that I bring that up is because a lot of times the deaf kids in our class, if they wore their hearing aids, we could communicate. If they didn't wear their hearing aid because it hurt them, But then a lot of times we couldn't understand what they were saying, and they would get angry at us for not understanding what they're saying. And of course, when you're not wearing your hearing aid and everything sounds muffled, it kind of sounds like people are making fun of you. And I had a deaf guy explain this to me through a translator because he didn't wear his hearing aid. And I've seen men overpower women easily. I've also seen women overpower men easily. Desiree, if you try to treat her like a woman, she's going to knock you out. She will knock you out. Desiree fights like a boy. She'll drop elbows on you. She'll drop knees on you. She'll kick you in the head. She don't care. She's also what's known as a seasoned fighter. That means she knows what she's doing. For us boys, we're taught how to fight and protect women. Women are taught how to protect themselves from men. But who teaches us how to protect ourselves from women? Or from the violence and abuse that comes from them? Obviously, the stuff that I had that I was going to try to get done today is not going to get done. And that young man who was going to show up here at 1, well, this place closes at 2, so I don't know how much we're going to be able to do. You get to see with nearly all these people who offer to help, the thing that's the issue, many of them have phone issues, same as me. Many of them have internet issues, same as me. Many of them don't know what the hell they're doing, same as me. When it comes to fighting, I know exactly what the hell I'm doing. That's probably the one thing in my life that I have absolutely no problems understanding. I understand why people swing and when they're going to swing. I understand motivation. I know what makes you tick. You see, when I asked people to stop and they didn't, I knew exactly how to go for the proverbial jugular. Problem with being a wallflower is people don't want to tell their real friends, the people they go partying with, about any of that stuff. The wallflower is your go-to therapist. All the stuff that you want to talk about that nobody else is going to listen to, none of your friends care about, you find a wallflower, somebody like me, and you tell us about all your problems. But then we're not a part of your life. We don't do the fun stuff with you. The people that you complain to us about are the ones that you go and hang out with Friday nights, Saturday nights. If a woman does it, it's venting, right? If a man does it, then he's complaining like a girl. That's how we get treated. How dare a man have an opinion about anything? How dare a man have emotions about anything that a woman didn't tell him it's okay to have emotions about? And how dare he show or express any emotions on his own? Well, you can't control your emotions, right? That's what you say to us. We can't control our emotions. No, we absolutely do. When you want to say that men are inherently violent, you know what? Men have inherently not beaten your ass every single opportunity that they had the chance. When Larry Martinez punched Kim Martinez, he only hit her once, caved in her eye socket. The cops didn't give him enough time for doing that. So he got himself a girlfriend, and he shot her in the head. God bless America, right? Boogers. There's a lot of guys going to jail or prison because they defended themselves against a woman with the least possible amount of force. If a woman has punched you in the head 10 times already and you push her away from you, yeah, you're going to jail. Do I agree with that? No. According to James Payton, the night that he bruised her up one side and down the other, he said that he pushed her off a book. He pushed her into a bookshelf, but that he did it because she was punching him. Well, he's a very, very large man, and it is painfully obvious that if he wanted her dead, it wouldn't have taken him 10 seconds to do it. Not all men are that big. Not all men use steroids like he does. Now, when it comes to if he wanted to hurt her, like seriously hurt her, she was bruised up one end and down the other, yeah. But he could have broken her neck in about 2 seconds. He could have broken her back in about 2 seconds. Todd Rust came and picked up Zyler so that Jamie and James could have their fight, apparently. That was the night that I found the owl. It literally ran into a telephone pole right next to me. I got some good pictures of it. Y'all don't care how much violence that we have to take because of your opinions. You also don't stop to realize how nice we're really fucking being. That guy in Florida on his way to prison for what? For defending himself against a woman who wanted to pretend he was a gym creep? He doesn't swing at her even once the whole thing. And like I said, the only time he stepped up to the inside is when she started grabbing for weapons. He wasn't interested in coming in and just waylaying on her ass. He could have done that at any point in time. When he approached her with a submissive stance. She turned around and stepped forward to assault him. Who let him into the building? She did. Now, I only got to see the abridged version. They tried to take out all of the parts that were unnecessary. They only wanted to show the parts where it showed him doing something wrong, but it didn't show him doing anything wrong. Yeah, she's a physical assailant. Maintain your distance. When she is reaching for things that could kill you if they hit you in the head, it's probably a good time to step forward, close the distance. If you're 15 feet away and she decides she's going to launch a projectile at you, well, it's going to suck for you badly, especially if she hits you in the head. Now, if she's 15 feet away and she starts reaching for a weapon, you can close that distance, but you need to do it quickly. You need to do it now. As soon as she starts reaching for that weapon, as soon as you see her eyeballing that weapon, whether it's a man or a woman, you look them in the eyes When it's confrontational, oh yes, I will look people in the eyes. I'm going to pay attention to their eyes. I'm going to pay attention to where they're looking and what they're looking at. God bless America, right? Now, when she goes reaching for that weapon, you can close that distance. And the amount of time that it takes her to reach for that weapon and grab a hold of it, you've already closed the distance. She might be in the process of picking it up, but you can close the distance. If you're close enough that she's not able to get a full wind up on it and chuck it at you, more's the better. It means that she's not going to have as much force into her throw. And anything that she has that she's going to hit you with, well, you're going to be up close and she's going to have to try to get rid of it quickly. Hot potato. Now, that guy in Florida, you can see that he closes the distance. You have any idea how difficult it is to throw something at somebody who is this far from your face? Did he get that close? No, he didn't have to. When she went and reached for a weapon, he went and closed the distance. She immediately stopped reaching for a weapon and he backed off. Over and over and over again. You can even see his mouth moving. I can only imagine what he's thinking and what he's saying. Probably, what are you doing? Stop. What the hell is wrong with you? Why are you hitting me? Back off of me. Hey, stop. Stop. You ain't going to be hitting me with no weapons. You need to stop. He might have even been yelling at her, leave me alone. Of course, if a man raises his voice, then it means that he's a violent monster, right? Go fuck yourselves. When I got into the fight with Catherine, it wasn't a fight. The entire thing was one-sided. There was a grand total of one person getting punched in that whole thing. Me. With her boyfriend, the reason he got bloodied wasn't because I was punching him. It's because there was a bike that he dropped on my fucking head. And then I had to grapple with her and him on top of the bike. Because he didn't drop the bike on my head until after he'd done that whole getting on all fours thinking it's funny thing. See, these are grade school antics here. When you're an adult, well, the stakes are much higher. When you're an adult, you don't have somebody trying to give you a titty twister unless it's a last-ditch effort and they're hurting badly and can't breathe. So that's not a happening thing. The pulling up your underwear, unless it's a dude twice your size who's trying to dominate you to basically make you look like a sissy in front of everybody. Yeah, as an adult, you're probably not going to get a wedgie. That's number two. She was trying to give me a wedgie. Number three, that whole getting down on all fours behind somebody. That's a fifth grade thing. As an adult, you're probably not going to encounter that unless you're dealing with college kids that just got out of high school and think it's funny. None of those are really effective in a fight. They might help you in a last-ditch attempt to get away. I mean, Catherine biting me on the chest. I was a fat dude. I understood completely why she bit me. She couldn't fucking breathe. And it was compounded by the fact that her boyfriend was getting on top of me and trying to jump on me. Getting that bike and dropping it on top of me. And then he was trying to get me into a headlock and a bunch of other stuff. And he kept on rolling me so that I couldn't get off of her. Like, oh my God, dude, this is stupid. By the way, that was Kylo Junior High School, I believe. No? That would have been before Kylo. It also would have been before Ethel Dwyer. That was another school I went to. Ethel Dwyer Middle School in Huntington Beach, California. I got beat up by a girl there too. Yeah, I'm bragging about getting beaten up by girls here. My little sister, when she was beating on her dog, it didn't need to be a physical altercation, and it wasn't. It was a grand total of me separating her from the dog she was beating on, and that was not difficult to do. Goddamn right that'll scare the hell out of somebody. You're in the process of beating on something or somebody else, and somebody else comes through and in one swift move ends your reign of terror. Yes, that is going to scare the living fuck out of anybody, isn't it? My sister didn't like that. She also played like I hurt her more than I did. Her pride was hurt, that's it. My little sister let me know that my niece, her life is at risk. Do I actually believe my sister? I believe that it's a possibility because this happened to so many people, myself included. If you tell me that my predators are doing the same thing to you that they're doing to me, well, they're doing it to me, so yeah, I'm going to believe you. I'm going to believe that that is at least a possibility and even a likelihood. So I've wasted a lot of time on people who, when you're a male, they don't follow through. They lie to you, and then it's your fault that they lied to you. It's your fault that they didn't come through. Or, of course, there's always the, well, I got busy with this, and I got busy with that. Well, fine. You got busy. So what? How many guys get all uppity and all up in my grill thinking that they're tough men? How many women get up in my grill thinking they're tough women? Tough ain't your ability to beat somebody up. It's your ability to take punishment and keep on going. That's where being autistic comes in handy. I got a high pain threshold. So if I say it hurts, it fucking hurts. Anyway, when it comes to how easily most men can overpower most women, that depends on where you're at, what you're doing, and your skills. Desiree has skills. Monkey has pure physical fortitude. What's the difference between the two? Monkey couldn't beat his way out of a wet paper bag if he had to. However, the dude's hard as a rock. You're not going to damage him by hitting him. He can take a lot of fucking pain. If you beat on Monkey, and I've seen people do this. Monkey's real name is Michael Pennington. I've seen people beat on him until they were exhausted and fell over, and then he fucking proceeded to waylay their ass. No, he couldn't land a punch against somebody who's actually fighting. But once they're exhausted with the rope-a-dope, yeah, at that point, they just lay there. They'll take those punches to the head. They'll take those punches to the chest because they're too exhausted to do anything anymore. He's not very good at grappling. He's not very good at hitting a moving target. He's got problems with hitting a stationary target. But once you've worn yourself down on somebody who can just take mass quantities of pain, you're worn down and they're not. They're just pissed off. And now they're pissed off at you, and you don't have the energy to defend yourself because you spent it all trying to hurt him. Between him and Lori, who would win in a fight? That's a toss-up. She's got experience. Depending on who you ask, I suppose. I guess we should probably ask Lana Christensen about that. Lana Christensen beat up Desiree once. How'd that happen? Well, she fed shots to Desiree all night, and when Desiree was too drunk to do anything, Lana got on top of her, got in the top mount position, and started pummeling the fuck out of Desiree's face. That's because while Desiree had experience in fighting, has experience physically against people, Lana used her brain. She wanted to win the fight. She wanted to give Desiree the example. Don't mess with me again. Now, when we talk about how easily a man can overpower a woman, I can't. 10 years ago, I could have. As far as overpowering somebody, unless they do something very, very, very stupid, I'm going to lose. Let's forget about Desiree. Let's say that Natalie Bollinger or her twin sister Alicia Bollinger, they're 4'8". That's tiny. That's literally midget status. Yeah. So, could I have beaten up Natalie or Alicia Bollinger? No. Nope. I couldn't have. Could I have taken a lot of severe beating from them? Probably. But they weren't violent towards me. There was no issue between them and I in real life. All of our issues was over electronic communication, which is what you idiots keep forcing me to do. Try to communicate electronically, and if you do finally call back, you're too busy projecting bullshit at me to find out what actually fucking happened, because you're all pieces of shit.